Hello, welcome to Waypoint Survival. Today, let's make a wilderness survival spoon. Today we're going to sit down and talk about some things and cook up a little bit of lunch. Sit down here by the creek and enjoy the beautiful weather here in southern Ohio. One nice thing about down by a creek like this, we've had quite a bit of flooding, a lot of rains this year. There's a lot of very dried out driftwood. It's been fairly dry for the last couple of days, and so I'm finding a lot of stuff that's just nice and has that very nice snap to it. So we're going to get a fire started here and start getting ready to have our lunch. While I'm out here collecting wood, found something a little interesting. There's been a beaver at work down here chewing around this, and then also the other end. Still pretty green though, so we can't burn it, but still it's always a neat find. Love to see what the animals are doing. The haversack I'm using today is one that I made several years ago from a pants leg, and coated it with beeswax. It's just a pretty simple, got some leather on it, stitched on the sides, you can see right there, and then just stitched it in various places all around to give it support. And it's pretty simple. It's not really authentic mountain man style or anything. Actually, these are just belts that I bought at Walmart, and just fasten them on with some leather. And it's, as you can see, it's from an insulated pants leg of some Carhartt pants. Okay, we got our fire equipment in it, and we're going to get this fire started. Alright, we'll put the haversack right there. And a lot of you know I really like, of course, fat wood is awesome in any situation, but I prefer to use natural tinders. And what I have here is just some tulip poplar bark. Get a little bit of it here. I always like to keep it in a Ziploc bag, of course. Try to keep it dry. And one thing about fire starting is always try to save some for later. Don't use any more than you have to. It's fun to use these things, but then of course you have to spend the time to go back and collect it once again. So basically we want to make a larger type bird's nest, but then we're going to take some and we're going to process it up really fine. Of course, again, the idea is we're trying to make a fluffy ball out of it. The more surface area you can get, the more likely you are to be able to get a flame out of that. And I like tulip poplar bark really well. We have a lot of cedar around here also, but when I can find and source tulip poplar, I will usually go for that first. Alright, there we go. Keep that dust, put that in the middle. Alright, we got that. And then we're going to just take this and make us just kind of pull it apart and get those fibers exposed. Alright, once we get that done, then we're going to take our bits and pieces that have fallen off and work those in. We have, you know, what looks like a little bird's nest. And then we're going to take this stuff that we processed up and put it right there. Alright, place it down in here. And it didn't light, so we'll do it again. Nothing wrong with that. Got it going and then it went out pretty quick. There we go. That's better. Alright, as soon as we get that going, of course, take our dry sticks here, put those on top. We'll get back to you when we get the fire blazing up good. Alright, well, we got the fire going. I had to hit it one more time with the ferro rod, but it finally took. I think there might be maybe a little dampness here, I don't know. But anyway, the fire's going good, and we're gonna dig in here and see what we have for our lunch today. We got our water bottle, cook kit here. Alright, looking good. And down here in our little pouch, it's a little leather pouch. Helps if you undo the knot. We've got a can of chili, so we're going to be cooking that up. Of course, it has a pop top. I do have a can opener on my multi-tool, but I try to buy pop top cans if I can. It just makes it a little simpler. Alright, and the only other thing I have in here is some light wool gloves and a small balaclava, just to keep my head warm. It's chilly out here while I'm out today. But we got a problem. I've got some soup, I've got cookware, fire kit, water, but I don't have a spoon. And as you well know, it's hard to eat soup without a spoon. So what am I going to do? There are a lot of these freshwater mussels found around here. They're literally just laying all over the place, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is there's another one over here. I'm going to search around. I'm going to find one that's the right size, and we're going to make a spoon. Here's one. All right, here's another. And as you can see, I'll come over here and show you. They're a lot smaller than those other ones, and I like this one best. This is almost the size of a regular spoon. So now we have to cut a green stick, and we'll get back to you on that one. All right, so I'm looking for either a hickory or a maple, and I found one right here. And so we're going to use this section in here to make our spoon handle. One of the things that I always carry with me is some kind of a saw. This is my favorite. It weighs 3 ounces. It's a sliding Gerber saw, and you can't buy these anymore. This is the older style made in Finland. Fortunately, I bought 3 of them years ago. But, they work just as good as a silky saw, and they're a lot lighter. Alright, so there's one, and we'll go ahead and cut the rest of this one off here. And that's kind of what we're looking for. We may trim it down a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight. This one's actually curved, and I may cut it back down to somewhere in here for our project. So, alright, let's get started on our spoon project. Alright, we got our fire blazing merrily here, and we're going to take our knife and go ahead and shave off the outer bark, and we're not trying to cut real deep. Now normally, as with a lot of projects, we don't want to use a lot of green wood, but when it comes to certain projects like this, you actually do want green wood. The reason you want green wood is because as it dries, it's going to shrink, and we're going to get a much tighter fit around our shell. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Alright. like it. That looks real nice. Let's see if we can trim it off and fit our shell. Alright, well, we don't need it quite that long, as I said before, so I'm going to extend our saw out here and kind of look at this. And I like this section right here where it kind of straightens out. I think that's going to make a pretty good looking handle right there. So, using our pinch method here, I'm going to use our leg as a lever. And it looks like I'm close to my leg, but I'm actually away from it. Alright, need that. Put it over there by the fire. Okay, so this is what we have. Now, what we need to do, and my big dog over there in the background. Now we need to take, and where this is right here, this end, we need to take our knife and split it. Find us a nice rock, because we're not going to split it all the way. We're only going to go down part of the way into this. Alright, about right there. And we're just going to go down just enough, like that. You see how far we split it? Alright. Very good. Alright, and we're going to take our smaller shell. Take the smaller shell here. And then I'm looking at the way this shell is made. And one side is more gradual than the other, and one is a little steeper. So what I want to do is I want to use the more gradual side. Well, it was a good idea till it broke. All right, let's try for the other one. It's a little bigger, but I think it should still work. Same basic principle. And we're going to go again for the shallower side here. All right, there we go. Now, that will work for a spoon, but the problem is this is going to want to come off. So what we have to do is we have to find a way to fasten it on there. What I have in my kit, I've told you before, is I carry some nails with some wire wrapped around it. And we're going to use that to fasten around our spoon. Find the end here. And this is going to put tension, of course, on this. And nothing fancy. I'm literally just coming around. And I just started the end here, and I just crossed it. And I'm using the nail as something I can pull against. And we'll go around it here a couple of times. And that will get tighter as we go. And I want to come down here, and I want to concentrate on the area right next to my spoon, and I want to pull pretty hard. I want this to progressively get tighter and tighter. So I'm going to go around that, and once I finish that, I'll get back to you. Alright, we've got that wrapped around there. I'm going to take my multi-tool and kind of figure out where this will go around in here. I'm going to wrap it around like that. Again, that's going to put a little bit more tension against that spoon. And we're going to clip it off. Right there. And then using this, we're going to punch that back inside so that little edge doesn't catch our mouth. And we have our spoon. Now, I suppose if you really wanted to pull and jerk on this, you could jerk that out. But I don't really need to do that because I want to stay in there, obviously. And for our purposes, it's going to work just fine. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to shave this edge off right here so that it ends up not getting into your mouth when you put it in your mouth against your lips. A good reason to have some wire with you. Now, you could use paracord, but or bank line, but bank line has tar in it. That's not a good idea. And paracord could melt. This wire, it's not going to melt. So it's going to stick with us, and it's going to be a good spoon. Alright, now what we have to do is very carefully carve off the end of this. Just smooth that down. Because it's kind of hanging out over the edge anyway. It's not part of the clamping system. for our spoon. It's just really more or less in the way. There you go. You can see what we did. Back of the spoon. Again, nothing fancy. And that probably took me all of, well, I don't know, 5-10 minutes to build, between going and looking for the piece of hickory. And of course, as this dries, as I said, this is going to shrink up on here and get even tighter. So I may unwind that wire and make it even tighter. And of course, if this breaks or shatters on me, then I can make another one. One more issue that we're going to have to face is there was a living creature in here. So it's not very sanitary. Now I've cleaned it out a little bit and scrubbed it and washed it. But what we're going to do is we're going to put this in some water, just down there a little bit, and we're going to boil this to make sure we kill any kind of pathogens or germs or hopefully anything that would cause us to get sick. I put just enough water in it so that it covers the entire shell and up a little bit of the handle of the spoon. Of course, that's also going to make it swell a little bit and hold even better. Well, we have achieved a rolling boil. We're going to let that sit in there for about a minute, and then we're going to take it out, let it cool off, and start to cook our chili. All right, we're going to open our can here. Now, a lot of people will cook their chili and such. They want to just put it in a can over an open fire and heat it up like that. That's not a good idea, because these cans are lined with a type of plastic coating, and there's a BPA in it and various other things. So you're better off to just put it in your bowl like it is and cook it like that. I know it means you have to clean up your cookware, but that's a whole lot better than getting all of those nasty chemicals in your body. Rake these around just a little bit. Get us a good place to cook. There we go. All right. We'll get back to you when it's warmed up. It's about the size of a tablespoon. Staying on there really well. I'm pretty happy with it. All right, let's see how it tastes. I just love chili. It's a pretty good spoon. Want a bite? This is James Bender for Waypoint Survival. Please like, share, and subscribe. And make sure and press that bell button to stay notified of all of our upcoming videos. And we'll talk to you next time. Gotta come back for the camera.